Welcome back now to Kerry and back to Headford. Now back to Connie Doherty once again. Connie, we were saying there before the break that the train landed in anyway to Headford on that evening, and there was two of what they call the Fusilier shot at that particular point in time. Now, what happened to DJ and the other chap that we're mentioning there?
Tommy McDermott, I think, was Jimmy Beard there at the time, and when Jan Alban was shot, he was knocked up on the train, and they pulled him back into to get him away. They thought he might survive, but there was blood flowing from his mouth. So they knew then that he was dead, and he turned around to him and he said, "A glass of holy water in my pocket you will find. It's the only thing I brought from home which I left behind. You'll just have to say a few words and you're gone immediately."
Right. Did anybody though manage to get the ammunition that was supposed to be on that particular train off?
Okay, they collected all. That's why they were there. That's
yes.
Why they collected all the ammunition before the car train was supposed to be coming on, and they had to gather their chops quick. And they collected their ammunition and what was there. Because there was plenty of soldiers shot there.
Okay, that's another train you were talking about there. That was coming from Mallow.
That was coming from Mallow. They had to be cleared out of the station before that train came on.
Right. In that particular train, though, there was quite a lot of Fusiliers as well.
God, there was.
They had plenty of ammunition, I believe.
Well, the thing about it, if they hadn't gone out to the station that, we'd say within 20 minutes, the whole lot of doors be shot, because as you know, when you're not used to use the guns that they had, you wouldn't do much good with them. They had to...
So, did the locals then retreat?
They retreated for the mountain where they started. That's all near the foot of the mountain. From there, so they said you go to the place called Couche.
Right. Who else around you can talk to me about this?
John Taylor and Jimmy Cronin.
Jimmy, how are you?
Not bad.
No. Jimmy, from what you heard yourself of the Headford ambush, where did these fellas do all their training then, all the different columns?
Well, they trained in quite remote regions where they wouldn't be seen, because there was always the British always in here and there. So they trained whatever they could get together, whatever a small bunch of them. And you know, some of these were marked men, and the British were to watch out from. Now, over there on the side of the mountain, there was a cave called Plush, which is the Irish for cave. And a lot of these fellas couldn't go home at night, so they stayed there at night and slept in there. And you know, they were on call whenever there was. Right. Call out.
Right. Some columns also, I suppose, did they train out in the Gap of Dunlow and Black
Oh.
Valley, places like that?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. But you see, talking about Headford here in the Chinner region, there was no shortage of mountains here and remote places to train. And there was no shortage of volunteers either.
Right. I believe that they went to a house here locally as well at one point in time. Most Sullivan's, is it?
Yes. You might, I wouldn't know if they're familiar with that now. I think Bill might know more about, or Jim Kenny might know more about that particular incident.
Coming back, I think what actually happened that day, that the Kenmare, there was a fair in Kenmare, and there was an exceptionally big crowd on the train coming from Kenmare, and the soldiers were on the Kenmare train.
As well as civilians?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think what actually happened was the cart train came in 5 minutes early. The idea was that the Kenmare train would come into Headford station, and that was to be reversed away. And then when the soldiers then would be left standing, they had their rifles stacked on the platform, but the cart train came in 5 minutes early. So that's what I think that's when the whole thing went wrong that day.
I see. Anybody else want to make a comment there? Yeah. Jim, that's you.
And that's mainly what I heard also.
Yes, I think.
And that is what's written, I think. A lot of the
Historical.
veterans that
Yes,
we
the
have.
car train came in 5 minutes earlier than.
Right. Would you all agree with what was written with, say, down through the years about the Headford ambush?
Yes.
All the stories, they're fairly accurate, are they?
Yeah.
They are generally, yes, they're pretty accurate.
Well, for the age of people that knew what had happened on that day, because only for the way, to the only people that saved all of those, they were all shot. I'll tell you one story. My father was in Headford ambush, and when they were training up over in the mountain, he came down one night. They were there for 2 weeks. He was there for 10 days in here. And he came down one night to change his clothes. He was wet out, as you know, if we were inside the mountain, something similar today or yesterday. But he came down to change his clothes in here. And as Jimmy said, they were all not mean. But he changed his clothes and went up to bed and slept for a couple of hours. And the next thing, the knock came at the door. And these 2 English soldiers came in, and they were inquiring, see where was he. One of them went upstairs, but my father was above in bed, and my grandmother, when she had the knock, she went up and lit up and there were the thick, all feather mattresses that came down the stand, and it was in a valley inside in the thick. But she lit up on top of him, and the 2 soldiers came up, and one of them searched all the rooms, and my grandmother lit on top of him, and he came up and he says to the other fellow, "What are you looking for here? Want to leave the poor woman alone?" I said, "I went up." I'm happy to be here tonight.
He was actually on the Kenmare train. He was down the Kenmare.
Is that right?
He was on the train.
Was he?
He was on the train.
And what did he tell you about that?
Well, he didn't, he didn't say too much about it, but of course they were all very frightened, and they didn't know what was going to happen.
Did they know there was something going to happen in
And
Headford?
the likes of my mother, of course, she was at home, and she knew that he was on the train when we lived here alongside the station,
Right.
and they could hear all the shooting, and of course they thought I'd be all dead. But they survived.
It was supposed to be one of the fiercest battles in the county, wasn't it, around that time?
You know, it was one of these great days for Ireland, as would say, because that's what we have the freedom that those people fought for. That's why we have freedom today.
Yeah.
If we were under English rule, which they were that time, you wouldn't have much freedom. We wouldn't be talking about tonight.
Right. Let me talk about your dad once again. He survived that battle here in Headford. Was there many killed or injured from that group?
There was well, the thing about it, Dan Alman and young Julie Bailey, he was
Two killed.
killed, yes.
Out of what, how many, 30 or something was it?
That was supposed to be 30.
Yeah.
Well, the twin in the song that was made up after them was 20.
Yes.
The one man I have to mention here before I read out the names that all that fought here at Headford was Spillanes. He was a teacher down here in Dunfest, because he kept the record, and that's why we have all the history of Headford Ambush to be all patched. I mean, it's fine for us to talk about it here now, but anything that was written down has stayed.
Okay.
So
it's very accurate.
It's
very accurate. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask you another question now, seeing that day is gone? Was it all in vain that there were so many people hurt and killed and all that?
No, every one of those, they went out to fight for their country, because they knew when the treaty, any one of those wouldn't sign a treaty. And that's why we have, as I said, that's why we have the freedom we have today all over those men. So that's why I'm delighted to Jerry Healy bring this show here tonight, because Headford Ambush, there's more history in Headford Ambush than anywhere we travel in the county. And you had all the men above Betty Mac, Tommy, history of the three Macs would say their grandfather took over from Dan Alban here the day of the Headford Ambush. And with his son then he made out all there, the tree and this present lad again. So that's history on itself.
Sure is. Sure is. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll be reading out those names who took part and identified on the program as well.
For the people that you know that fought at Headford Ambush, I would like to read out all those names.
Okay, I'll do that.
Show.
I'll do that for you.
Yeah.
And thank you indeed. Give them a nice round of applause.
Would you sing the song now, Lily?
Yeah. Who's the man who's going to sing the song for us?
Jim Kelly.
Jim Kerry. Would you like to sing one verse of that song?
I will.
Yeah.
Oh, who is the youth with the dark curly hair, who is kneeling and praying in that old Sudan chair? He sighs as he strikes his brave breast now and then. He is thinking of home, of his country. Then he jumps to his feet, there's a knock at the door. A youth steps inside and a message he bore. He hands it to one who read it with joy, saying before the day's over, some Tommies will die. Then he called on his youth who has fled to the deer. They are tightening their rifles and their oh God, they are off. The old woman cries, God guide them and guard them and be by their side. With hearts ever true and their heads held high, for God and old Ireland they're ready to die. Then down the brown heather, like children at play, and to Headford Junction they are making their way. The station is reached, they begin to prepare. The wagons are shifted, the place is made clear. The train is soon sighted, the boys disappear, the rifles are loaded and at the prepare. When the train reached the station, the Tommies jump out, saying, where are those shinners we all hear about? But they hadn't to wait long, till a shower of red rain came cracking and tearing from under the train. To get to the enemy, he must go to the rear. The cart train is coming, there is no time to spare. Then under the wagon he seemed to go, he is kneeling and firing and lying down low. But alas, there's a groan as he falls to the ground. He rises again and gives one look around. He calls on a comrade Lad true and trying, say I'll command you no more. I am shot in the side. There you take him out from under the train, as bullets are falling as thickly as hell. The fight is all over, the cock train is in, so try and escape, the youth must begin. He dashes the cabin with bullets around, and scales the high bank as fleet as a hound. And down to the mountains, and outlaw to roam, saying revenge I will have for my country and home. And God rest you, brave allmen, may in heaven you abide, and pray for the youth who fought by your side. In Ballykelligate they are mourning tonight for young Jimmy Bailey who fell in the fight. The north wind is blowing along the brown glen, where an old woman waits for her gallant will. Saying, are they all safe? But the news quickly came that the youth with the colours would never see.
We now take a break. John, a couple of minutes. Now with us, welcome back. With us we have got Tim Sullivan. Tim, I believe that your house was very well known in the region back around 1921. And a number of those who fought here in Headford used to call there.
As it happened, there was a night about in the house, in our house, for Patty Buttons of Glenflesk, grandfather to Padre Mining, and Hannah Cronin was the first cousin of my grandmother's.
Right.
And of course there was two uncles of mine out with the boys, and they all landed to our house that night, and there was drop a drink of course there, don't you know. So they got half afraid out in the morning anyhow, and Jimmy Daly, the local captain, thought it was better like, don't you know, to take to the mountain like, don't you know, because it wasn't long before that when the house in Throne was surrounded and when McSweeney was shot there. So they didn't want a second thing happen like. So Jimmy Bailey and Dan Almond all them, they were going to our house that night. It was the house that I live in myself now, right? And
Is that the house of the famous clock?
yeah, that's the house.
Yeah, we heard about that one.
Yeah, that's the house.
Yeah. And you still have the clock, have you?
Oh yeah, it's still on the wall.
And was it Jim Bailey that sat under the clock?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was my mother did, and all them had the shots firing in the evening like the Lord, but I knew like that was coming up that the following, don't know that there was going to be an ambush there. And of course there was more soldiers killed than there was in any other ambush in the country like. But it was they got too brave when they were on top of it. And unfortunately Dan Almond and Jimmy Bailey lost their lives.
Okay. All right, Tim. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, let's see. Who will we take on next? We got anybody with a bit of poetry around here? Any poets? Singers. We have Jim Kerry. We got Jim singing the song. Joan Leary. She here. Eddie Crowley. Abby's down here.
What about a bit of singers and first?
Yes, that'll be fine. Yeah.
I have one of the singers. You know, he wrote a book of poems, the ballad of Bonnet for Bogman, and all about the thinkers. But I could give you one It's not a Tinker's wife.
All right, yes. Okay. Now, so.
Right. When Ruth rippled home at eventide and trees pink shadows to the ground, the Tinker came to Tarn Bridge and camped beside the fan. With long ear dass and bony horse and blue wheel cart and caravan, she the fairest of them all, daughter of the Tinker clan. The sun flamed in her red hair and in her eyes down the dark of mouth. Her body held the widow's grace and her feet scarce touched the springy earth. The night spread her star-tasseled shawls, the river gossiped to its stones. She sat beside a leaping fire and sang the songs the Tinker owned. Those songs as old as turning wheels and sweet as bird throat after rain, deep wisdom of the wild wet earth, pain of joy, joy of pain. A farmer passing on the road to tend some cattle in the fire and saw her like some fairy queen between the river and the fire. Her beauty stirred his brooding blood, of magic mount in his head. He stole her from her Tinker clan and on the morrow they were wed. And when May sunshine swamped the hills and bird song droned the river bells, the Tinkers quenched their hazel fires and climbed the windy road to Kells. From his house she saw them go with blue-wheeled cart and caravan, and long-eared ass and bony horse, and brown-haired woman and Tinker. She saw them go, she saw them fade and vanish in the yellow furze. A cold wind blew across the sun, and silence stole the singing birds. She watched the months move on until the river fret and foam. At white of day the roosters call, dim of the cows come home. And crickets hid their heated hearts in hidden halls beheld the hob, and told of distant waterways where the brown sea throat dive and bob. And shoot the glossy bubbles up the net of sound of all the stars, set strange hills dancing her dreams, and meshed her to those wandering towers. She stole from out her sleeping man, she fled the fields that tried her down, her face moved to the rising sun, back to the tired town. She climbed the pallid road to Kells against the hill, against the wind, and in Glen Bay of the mountain streams, she came upon her Tinker kind. They bedded her between the shafts, and there her child was born. She had the women praise the boy before she died at that morn. The years rolled by like frightened birds that spill the feather and are gone. The farmer walked his wheatful fields and made the Tinkers travel on. No more they camped by Carron Bridge or blew their fires to fragrant flame, but they saw him with his dog and gun. They spat and cursed and moaned. And when the moonlight cloaked the hills with stars she stole from out the skies, there came a barefoot Tinker lad with red hair and laughing eyes. He left the road and crossed the fields. The farmer shot him in the side, smiling from his twisted lips. He told his name and died. That evening when the neighbours came, they saw the boy laid on the floor and found the farmer hanging dead between the window and the door. They placed the boy upon a cart and cut the swaying farmer down. They swear that a barefoot woman went that evening all the way to town. The sun flamed in her red hair, and in her eyes danced stars of mirth. Her body held the willow's grace, and her feet scarce touched the springy earth. They buried him in Kilfarnoe, and eyes were wet and lips were warm. And when the mound was patted down, the Tinker maid was gone. Now I know not what the neighbours think, for I only speak with borrowed words. But that is how the story goes, and he brought the singing birds.
Thank you now. Can I ask you, when did you learn that one out first?
Well, I got in the book of poems, Sigurdsson Clifford, of course, was a Castlevine man. He worked in the civil service for years, retired there. He's also the man who wrote When the Born Australia. And, you know, the last line of Born Australia, when the wheels of life are full, take my place in those green fields. Well, he was brought back to Castlevine and he's buried there. But probably in the 50s, 60s, I'd say. As far as I can remember.
Yes, tremendous fun to be able to remember all that after all these years. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, I want to go to Larry Donovan. Where is Larry? He's here behind my back. Larry, the man with the cap. Larry, how are you?
Not too bad.
Larry. Right, okay.
I'm working in the species around here in East Kerry at the moment.
Right.
I'm only a small wood farmer above the side of the road. I really have my back to the wall. I'm thinking of going up to meet Mr. Welsh. I'm off four-wheel drive. I want a little old Ferguson 20. And I wanted 3 horse lift.
So you're one of those hard-pressed farmers, small farmers.
Oh, definitely. I must be Mr. Welsh.
Right.
Because horse milk is very important. He don't provide it, like.
Yeah, what's so special about it?
Well, you don't know me, I can. Before I went to bed.
Hang on a moment. Who's this lady sitting on the side?
Or she can verify that.
Yeah, well, I tell you something. I knew it took a brave woman to sit alongside a man like that. I see the woman, but I'm just staying away from him, though.
I'll give more drop with any time I want.
Tell me this, it hasn't made the headlines, hasn't it?
Go dropping back a bit in low pressure, like.
Why we're under pressure on maybe to solve the problem.
They can all, if you want to find this, and then you can go back and back again.
Nourishment. Okay, we're getting back to the headlines. You made headlines in the Scotsman, by the way.
Right, I did. It was in the way, but
Come on, tell us about it. Don't be shy.
I did. Right, I think. Right, I thought they might see way back to us to the wall, like if things were going bad, but I thought I might get the contact from Paddy Shade in there, and I know before that Ireland. Which is, I didn't get the contact at all, and my two boys left me down.
Did you try John O'Keefe?
Well, I gave this Jameson and John Crowley.
Oh, shit, John Crowley.
They didn't specify enough at the party that how good it done was. I never got the contact in the party. Waiting on the phone and walk off the party. I think I got rid of most of it.
Yeah, the poor man, you might have been happy.
We'd have to sum up where here tonight if I got the contact in the party.
You're putting in your word early now, aren't you? Okay.
Sure. I have an old song about the farmers back in the 60s. That's where I am now with my Ferguson. I have an old song if you want.
Well, but you know what? We'd love to hear, wouldn't we, ladies? Come on. Yeah. And gentlemen, of course.
About the farmers back in the 60s that marched to Dublin.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Remember I think led by Bob Stack from the stall, took them out. 12 years, I don't know how long is it going to take me with my Ferguson 20.
Right, away you go.
I am a fed-up farmer from working in the fields all day. With my oats and wheat, my turf and cattle, I'd be better off locked up. I am tired of the tilling and all the blooming fruits. So I'm off to join the NFA with a pair of hobnail boots. Now we're off to Dublin in the morning, the march where the farmers will gather in the sun. from the north and south, the east and west, until the battle is won. I will leave behind the missus, she's the one who takes the tail, and I hope that she will milk the goats while I am far away. I will take my old grey overcoat and my stick of black tar run, and I'll tramp and tramp with all my might to reach Dublin in the morn. Now we're off to Dublin in the morn, in the mass where the farmers will gather in the sun. From the north and south, the east and west, until the battle is won. Well, now we're here in Dublin. The people think we're queer. We will raise our voice and give it heard way up in Million Square. Now some man shout at ours, and more want better pay, and some more want to be united too in the ranks of the NFA. So we're off to Dublin in the morn, in the match where the farmers will gather in the sun. From the north and south, the east and west, until the battle is won.
Thank you very much. It's a tremendous effort from the board. Thank you. Well done. Thank you. Now, what's next? Where's Abby? Right. We've got Abby Crowley.
Yeah.
You're relaxed. What do you think of the man with the goat's milk?
Oh, great.
Did you ever drink it?
No.
All right. Do you sing? Right. Will you sing one for us now? Okay. Away you go.
In Arranmore in the county Galway, one pleasant evening in the month of May, I spied a colleen. She was fair and handsome, and her beauty fairly took my breath away. She wore no jewels, no costly diamond, no paint or powder, no, none at all. She wore a bonnet with a ribbon on it, and around her shoulder was the Galway shawl. We kept on walking, she kept on talking, till her father's cottage came into view. She said, "Sir, come and see my father, and play to please him in the foggy dew." He played the blackbird, the staccabarry, Radney's glory, and the foggy dew. He sang his note like an Irish linnet, and tears rolled down his eyes of blue. It was early, all in the morning, I hit the road for old Donegal. She said, "Goodbye, sir," and as she cried, and my heart remains with the Galway shawl. She wore no jewels, no costly diamonds, no paint or powder, no, none at all. She wore a bonnet with a ribbon on it, and around her shoulder was the Galway shawl.
Thank you, Abby Crowley. Abby, are you any relation to the famous John?
I am, yeah.
Are you? What's the relation?
Noodles, the noodles wife.
No, well, I'm sure you're very proud of him, are you?
Oh, indeed, I am. Thank you very much.
Very, very fine young man and a tremendous footballer. Thank you again for talking to us.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Sean, the girl's going to go.
What's the name of the Yes, okay, don't worry. Okay.
John would relax in the chair.
Now, once again, we'd like to introduce you to our musicians who are going to play this time for us a selection of Irish reels. We had Kerry there as well, Johnny, of course, on the guitar. And Kerry might even oblige a song and play on tonight on the program as well. Now, so, I'm looking for a man with a middle name by the name of Lawler. They call him Dan Lawler. I'm sure people might know him otherwise than Dan. He's better known as Dan Lawler, is that it?
That's right.
He might be known by other people in the country as Dan Moynihan.
That's right.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
You're very welcome to join us. How are you?
You're very good, thanks.
Tell me about this Lawler a bit.
Well, it is very hard to explain. My uncle was a man that was called Lawler, and he was a footballer, and I can't really tell you exactly how. There was a good footballer. A footballer in Tralee. Yes, and the Alden.
There's a man saying there that there was a Lawler in Tralee.
Yeah,
And he was a footballer as well. Yes,
He was a famous footballer.
He was a famous footballer, yeah.
And Lawler was called after him.
Oh, I see.
Right, yes.
All right.
Right, yes.
So you're actually Dan Moynihan. You're the Seamus is dead.
That's right.
Yeah. And of course he's doing very well with it at the moment. He's playing excellently.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Now, the football side of it, you play yourself, you.
It's a very small business. Very small business. But yeah.
So how would Seamus be getting from then? You're not getting from the mom's side.
Your message was from the mom's side. Yes.
So she was a bit of a footballer. The ladies footballer. Is she down here? Oh, she's keeping quiet. Oh, yes, I have you now. See, I down here in the corner. I'll get over her down the milk.
Right.
But you enjoyed the crack with all the boys, yeah?
Very good argument. Especially Jimmy's son there. Headford. That was lovely.
Sure was. Very well. Tell me about your area where you live now here. What's so special about it?
Well, I suppose it's his home to me and to my family.
Was there a lot of immigration out here?
There was an awful lot when I was young. Well, I was born in Dublin myself.
Right.
Well, yes.
But how long would you be living here?
I'm living here over 50 years.
Ah, yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of a lifetime in
It is,
itself.
in itself it is. But I remember a lot of people went to America and never came back to job. Well, yeah.
When Kerry, you're playing Dublin now, how would you consider yourself? All right, do you know what I want to do? I go over to the wife.
Right.
You don't mind doing that? Before you run out of steam. All right. Thank you very much. How are you, Miss Smiley? You're one of the top women. So how did you get your hands on this fella? You was from Cork. You're a Cork woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you both met where?
We met at the dance in Ballygoon. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we met there.
And you kind of decided that
We
you got
decided
married?
there and then.
That's very fast, so.
Yeah.
So you got married
I did,
and
yeah.
you decided to live here in Kerry then?
Yeah.
Why choose Kerry?
Well, he was living here, so I had.
Oh yeah, he was here.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought he came from Dublin
No,
especially, you know.
no, he was living here
Yeah.
long time before we got married.
Right.
Yeah, to come back then.
And Seamus himself, what member of the family would he
He's
be?
the youngest.
He's the youngest.
Yeah.
I see.
He was now.
Yeah. You have another son, I think, was he working in Quills in Canada?
Yes, yeah, Sharon.
He's working in Quills, yeah.
She's working in Quills as well.
Is she? Yes, yeah. Right, and does any member of the family is away from?
He's in Boston.
He's in Boston.
He's in Boston.
Okay. Well, let's hope that by some way now he may get to tune into our program.
Yeah, he
as
will.
we're on the
Yeah.
net,
Yeah.
you know?
They were going to tell him about it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he's listening probably now to the program.
Yeah.
But have you any good wishes for him over there? That's great. Okay, thank you very much for talking to us. Hang on to himself. Don't mind him now. Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Oh, that's right. Now, so we're going to go from Pauline family to another Crowley family, which John. How are you? You well, and the mom is here too. That's right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I suppose I better ask you the same question. You met her where? Ah, there was many a match made there. Or many a couple, I should say, came out there.
That time, all dancing that time. It was normally for going to pubs or discos or anything like that at that time. But we always enjoyed ourselves and everything was worked out very well in the end of it.
Sure did. Tell me, how about himself? How's he keeping? Your man himself?
He's fine. Yeah.
When can we see him back again?
Well, he's back training at the moment.
So,
He might be back in the next couple of weeks.
yeah, all right. So he's keeping good.
He is, yeah.
That's great. Okay, then. You're on here around here. Do you sing at all?
No, we don't sing, John.
What do you do for enjoyment? Well, I should say you always enjoy yourselves, no doubt.
Yeah.
Socially fun.
I suppose only I enjoyed going to football matches all over the country, following the lads, and we've had a great 10 or 15 years with them, and we hope to continue for a few more years.
Yeah, that's the job in itself, really, isn't it? Now?
Oh, it is, yeah.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Big commitment for the players.
I know.
Not making the inter-county level, and it's my parents and that's a lot of things following them after that. But we very enjoyable. A lot of people, travels to a lot of new places. That's really the enjoyment in it for us.
Yeah, have you travelled abroad at all with them?
I didn't travel abroad with the president because I thought I was making years. American to Australia in 1970, so I got a good image of it myself. Normally, you wouldn't get to see these places.
The 60s and 70s, there were tremendous years too in the football, weren't they? I was watching a programme the other night, I think it was TNG, and there was an old match on that was tremendous between Kerry and Dublin.
And that's right, I saw some of the matches there myself. It was wonderful to see them fellas at that time. That was the team, of course, just after I played. I played in the 60s and the early 70s, and then McCarthy took over, and then the new team came on. It's Mikey Sheehy, John Egan, and all these kind of fellas, and Jack O'Shea, and all these things, John O'Keefe, and all these fellas. They were marvellous players, of course. That particular team and that particular era in football was very much of these fellas won 7 or 8 All-Ireland medals. I don't think that will ever happen again, really, because all the present teams are pretty a lot into it now. There's only a few teams that have maybe Kerry, Dublin, Meath, a few teams got putting the real effort in that. But every team is pretty, and every team is a champion. So last year was damn bad. That's their day came as well in the end.
Yeah, of course, the training in the years that you possibly were in wouldn't be up to what it is nowadays.
Well, there's no doubt that it wasn't as intensive as it was nowadays, Sean. But I think myself, looking at what the lads have to do now, I think we had much more enjoyment in playing it. So this is what I feel myself like. I really enjoyed my 10 years playing with Kerry. The real pressure wasn't on you or anything like that, like the present day lads. But a few things, of course, have probably brought that on. A lot of it, I think, has come from media and television pressure, but it's also, I suppose, the modern world in which we live in. That it's all playing to win is the important key now. I think we really played for the fun of it. If you won, it was good, and if you didn't, well, then good as well.
Right. To refresh our memories, of course, who was your trainer back in the 60s then?
Jackie Lane was the man. Jackie from Killarney was the trainer during my period, and Judge Jim Brosnan, who was the chairman of the county board at the time. Eunice from was a doctor in Dingle. He was training the team when I was at minor level. 2 excellent men, got on very well with him, were very fair and everything, values and everything. I couldn't have any guilt about anything that happened during when I was playing anyway.
Right. And the way what would the training session be like, or It wouldn't be as light today anyway.
As I said, it wouldn't be anything like as intensive as the training, particularly at this time of the year. The lads are training 2 or 3 nights a week. We would never be training over the National League during when I was playing. Maybe when we get to the semi-final or final, we might do a few nights once a week. But during the winter period, you would have to do your training yourself. You would go for a few runs or a few pieces with the local or something like that. But as I said, during the National League period, we wouldn't be training much at all. And during my period, Kerry was 5 National Football Leagues. I'm not too sure is the whole thing maybe overdone at the moment. Like, are they dwelling too much on too much intensive training, maybe not enough of skills? We got Conlon, we got the Wild when I was playing, and they always kept themselves right, but I think they always did a lot of kicking the ball and catching and things like that.
Okay, can I ask you one point about the thing? I don't want to dwell too much on this because it would be unfair, I suppose, to footballers, and I often think of this myself. When I was football, I'd be getting bashed from left, right and centre from media and all of that. But there's criticism sometimes about, let's say, the backs messing about too much with the football.
Well, I suppose we all of the things that you criticise with the thing don't go right. But I think Kerry at the moment are playing it a little bit too slow from the back myself. But that's only my own opinion. But I think I think we played it a bit more direct, and that was better catching and kicking of the ball in. But that was what every team did in that era. So I don't know, was it Dublin that was introduced, and maybe we could do it to a lesser extent, passing around the ball a little bit. But a second amount of it is all right. If you can mix it well, you'll have a good team. But I think, I suppose, in Gaelic football, when I'm coaching the lads here, my philosophy is to get it out of defence as quickly as possible into the forwards.
Okay, it's unfair of me, I suppose, to let out your wife out of this conversation.
He sings too.
He sings as well. Okay, good. We might need that song later on. But when young John was growing up, did he show at a very early age that he'd be a footballer someday with the Kerry team?
Well, I think he did, yeah. I mean, he was unable to walk when he wanted to go down to the football field, didn't he? He seemed to be messing around with the ball already. And I think he did, maybe when the under 12, under 14 stage, reasonably good at that stage.
Right. Of course, I suppose it's really important, even nowadays, they're getting great coaching, even younger than that, from their clubs, aren't they?
Oh, they are, yeah. Even at under 8 now, they have, they're training here anyhow, at under 8 and under 10, there's great interest out here now.
Yeah, well, yes, do that, I have a little young fella at home as well, and he's just done the 8s now,
Yes.
and he's shown interest at the age, so I'm hoping someday that maybe someday he might don the Kerry jersey as well.
Yes. It's nice to see him starting young and taking interest.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I won't ask you more from Munster. Sure. No. We keep that out of the time. I come back another occasion. All right. Sure. Thank you. And we may have a song later on.
Not really.
Not really. Okay. I'll come back another occasion. Give her a round of applause. Thank you. Okay. We'll take a break. Join us back. Okay. Just one moment now. I want to make one check here and just have enough room on this one. If not, we get to the next. Okay. It must be a terrible thing if we finish.
How dreary was the hill today, but not your Beaufort Hill. The flags of Headford's army boys, how limp they hung and still. Our bearers stunned in dire defeat by Kerry's brave young team. The Dove's young bloods in silence hushed by our gallant golden green. Could any team be lucky boys to do so mean a foul? Our hearts were sad and sore indeed when Mickey left the ground. Just as the great O'Sullivan was racing through to score, not one or two, but 4 of them combined to block his road. Hurrah, my boys, we came again for gallant Mick O'Dwyer. How could we let our hero down, who trained us for the fight? and bonfires blaze from Temple Knowe all around to Old Tralee. And show the land we beat the champs, we have number 23. All through the week some expert seemed to doubt our skill to win. Too young, they said, the wise old heads, so now what do they think? As Kerry speaks, have stood the test against the gales and snow. Some hardy force is in our bones whene'er we meet the foe. We will meet the seniors at Rathmore and meet the miners too. They brought such glory to our homes with skill of hand and boot. And in each town will throng the crowds and such like living waves. And we'll drink and chat and check the watch and mock that lovely train. Our Johnny's great successor, oh man, he was sound. The Lynches and O'Keefes were there, light year they swept the ground. Great Egan and O'Driscoll brave, sure they shook the Dublin net. I feel these doves are reeling still from these visions that they met. Your power Spillane, the Carty, where would you see the lights? And Dinahan and Morn and Kinnelly played in style. Young Sheehy there of noted fame, and the captain from Kinmare. John Bunnan, Lang and Welsh were fit with Donny and the O'Sheas. It is long we'll tell this story of this brave young Kerry team who are riding home in glory to their kingdom by the sea. God grant them health and plenty, those who raised our hearts so high, and long life to gallant Michael, the dauntless Victoria.
You're handy on box.
I'm Simon Patty. I live from Drone, there's above in Kilwan and Patty Patsy's every Sunday night. That's how we left out the dance says Joe, because he was caught a girl from Kilwan. It worked out well.
Good. Now I'm going up to this other man up here. Peter Kelleher. Pete Kelleher. Please up. Now we have Pete Kelleher with us. Pete, we're moving on nicely on the program now tonight. Got plenty of talent down here, and you want to add to that talent, I'm sure. Yes, and what do you want to do?
A lad and his sweetheart some long years ago were strolling a path side by side. He told her he loved her and asked for her hand, and she promised she would be his bride. But she wanted to know if he'd always be so. He kissed her and to her did say, though your hair may turn to silver as the years go by, your cheeks like the rose may not always be, though the charms of youth depart. Times will never change my heart. You will always be the same sweet girl to me. Now this feeble old couple were kneeling at prayer, that same two who met years before. A Bible before them they started to read, when some object fell to the floor. Now the wife with great tenderness gathered them up, as the tears from her eyes softly flowed. It's a treasure of mine, they were daisies one time. Do you remember, dear John, when you said, though your hair may turn to silver as the years go by, your cheeks like the rose may not always be, though the charms of youth depart. Times will never change my heart. You will always be the same sweet girl to me.
Did that take the steam off you? Oh, no, yes. But you sang it very well.
No drop of water.
That's what you're on at the moment. All right. Pick up that song where? You sing.
People realize something. Sing the yellow robin next.
From the throne, there was a penal massacre. Now, of course, in penal times, the people came there secretly to attend mass whenever the priest was 100 person would be available. And it was only in our own time that that would be maybe in the 60s or 70s. The first mass was said there since penal times. That mass was said by the late Father Sean O'Leary, who was a local priest, and came in there on a Sunday morning. And you know, with the cloud lifting off the mountain, the fog going off the mountain, you could visualize, you know, the people stealing up there secretly for mass. And it was lovely looking out over the countryside. Now, in more recent years, we decided that, you know, it should be masked in some kind of a proper way. So a number of us came together and got a little plaque. The mass rock was always known as Corrigan, and we got a plaque and had it put on the rock. And we also had a little signpost put on the road.
Showing the direction.
Showing the direction of it. And the Father Dennehy, who was a native of Ballygalvin, who is now serving in Australia, Father Dennehy had mass there on a few occasions for us, whenever he was home on holidays. And on the occasion when the plaque was put on the mass rock, the canon in Ramor, Canon Horgan, came along, even though he's a man moving in years like myself. But he came along and he had mass there to mark the occasion. And from time to time, from now on, it will be an annual thing, I'd imagine.
Right.
And,
is there much interest shown by the local people?
The local people, yes, very much so. And local people who have moved away, maybe married away, far away, they still come from 10 miles around.
Right. Do you mean is it easy accessible?
You need to be fairly agile to get up there, but if by taking one's time, yeah, one can get there.
Right, the fellow says you wouldn't bring the old car up there.
You wouldn't have the bicycle. With a pair of good hobnail boots, you'll get there. Absolutely.
Yes, of course. And it's the effort put in going up, I suppose that makes all the difference.
Sure, that's of course. And
is it high up? Is it high up?
It would be up with 700-800 feet above sea level anyway, and have a beautiful view over the countryside. So it's worth making the effort, even if you weren't spiritually motivated.
I know. I'm sure the prayers go to heaven quicker from
Absolutely.
Yes.
One thing that I'd like to mention, he was Penny Healy Headford. He won 2 All-Irelands with Kerry in 1913 and 14. He'd be a grandfather now, Derry Healy's. And it would be a shame to let the night pass by without mentioning him. Because, I mean, he was the hero at that time, the same as Seamus Mindy, now and John Crowley. They all appreciated Paddy Healy. He was a very quiet type of a man. But I remember one time as a few with Jim Kelly and Dan Lawler, we were playing with Headford. And we did not have very little training at that time, like Derry was saying there. But before this match, there was the old club you'd say in Glenflesk or in Headford at the time. It was only just match here and there. But the night before, before this match, as we thought was important, we all had to go into Paddy Healy to get advice from him. So he always had a word of by Goddies. So he said in it, by Goddies, lads, he said, if you don't train, you'll do no good. And I think he was right.
Sounded right.
And you never found out what by Goddies were?
Well,
just his old saying, yeah?
It was his old saying.
Go to the one house.
That's it. Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, and we have to keep the Healy name.
Oh, yeah, they have to.
Thank you. John Leary.
It's a working man I am, and I've been down on the gravel, and I swear to God if I ever see the sun, or for any length of time, I can hold it in my mind. I never again will go down underground. At the age of 16 years, he quarreled with his peers, who vowed they'd never see another one. Through the dark recess of the mines, where you age before your time, and the cold dust lies heavy on your lungs. It's a working man I am, and I've been down underground, and I swear to God if I ever see the sun, oh, for any length of time, I can hold it in my mind. I never again will go down underground. At the age of 64, he greets you at the door, and will gently lead you by the arm through the dark recess of the mines. Oh, he'll take you back in time, and will tell you of the hardships that were had. It's a working man I am, and I've been down on the ground, and I swear to God if I ever see the sun, oh, for any length of time, I can hold it in my mind. I never again will go down underground. I never again will go down underground.
Thank you very much. That was really beautiful. Let's hope that himself didn't mind me taking him away there for 2 minutes and 48 seconds. I met you briefly one night in Killarney, Jimmy O'Brien's, and we were talking about construction and things like that, which you were very familiar with. Now, I want to talk to you further on that, because tonight I only heard that you built a row of houses inside in Killarney, each costing something like 2,500 way back. Is that correct?
Well, the 4-bedroom house,
yeah,
it was built in 68.
That's in Park Road, is it?
In Park Road,
yeah.
Park Road houses, yeah.
Yeah.
The 4-bedroom house was bought for £4,200.
All right.
And the 3-bedroom house was bought for £3,700. And anyone that bought the house that time got a grant of around £300, I think. Yeah, that was a council grant and that was a government grant. I think that was about 150 each, I think, you know, near enough here.
Yeah. But you did a lot of building since anyway, didn't you?
One day we did, yeah.
Okay. Where was the most famous construction that he built, I wonder, folks? Can anybody tell me?
The Presbytery.
The Presbytery in Headford, is it?
He used to cycle down to Kinmare working.
You used to cycle to Kinmare working, is it?
Oh yeah, Monday night, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do it back in 1954.
Right.
Yeah. I worked for Dan Ryan. He was a contractor from Kinmare, and he built an extension onto Barnum Church in 1953. And I worked there with him.
Yeah.
And when we finished, he asked me to work in Kinmare. So I used to cycle down in the morning and cycle back in the evening.
And how many miles roughly?
It was about 22 miles, I suppose, roughly. I say, there's 21 miles, I think, from Limfest Church to Kinmare, yeah.
Good God, that was a job in itself, the cycling.
Yeah. But we used to day in with that.
Okay, let's come back to the Presbytery then. You built the Presbytery around here, did you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so, yeah.
Was there more money in building the Presbytery than there was in the house?
No money.
No, you want me to tell me the dirty ones in your heart.
Right. We were dealing with a very nice man.
Did you get paid
We
straight
had a
away?
very nice parish priest here.
He paid you well?
He didn't it. Fair dues to me. Yeah, no better than that.
And did he give you the encouragement to build more presbyteries?
No. But,
So then into the presbytery work.
that's, I think so, yeah. Yeah.
So you went further afield and of course you were telling me the last time we met that you built, was it the old Three Legs Hotel? Would I be right
Well, I
there?
worked in it.
Oh, you worked in it?
Yeah, I worked in it for Kings.
Oh, for Kings, yes.
Yeah, King Brothers that came, they were the contractors when they built it.
That's right.
It was their own hotel, of course, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I worked with King Brothers in 1961, 62, 63, 64.
Is there such thing as a monument to a builder like yourself now? You've built so many housing estates and houses and all that. Is there any one you pick out that you said it was a really good one?
I don't know. I wouldn't say no. I would say the Park Road, I'd say, was...
An estate.
It was, I'd say, in my lifetime, I think it was.
I think they call it Park Drive now.
Park Drive now, yes.
That's right,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I think, you know, that time, that £4,200 that time for a house was a lot of money. And there was a lot of people that booked houses there and had to come up again, that couldn't come up with the money. You see, the loan they get at that time was about £2,500 and I had to come up with the rest. So, I mean, it wasn't easy, there weren't many having £2,000.
When you pass in and out the Park Road estate now, or the Park Drive estate, does it bring the memories back to you?
Well, I do, yeah. Definitely, yes. Definitely, yeah. Yeah, definitely do.
Were they bad old days?
No, great days.
Oh, great days.
They were all great days. Yeah, but I think that, you know, that...
Had you much machinery now? You won't have as much as this present day though when you were working.
Not at all, no. We had a JCB. That was it. On our own level. Yeah. You had to draw all the, there was no ready mix, and that was it. Yeah.
Draw it all.
You had to draw all the gravel, like, and mix your own concrete.
Okay, you've handed over the business now to your son, I believe.
That's right. That's right. I have two sons.
Two sons.
Yeah, involved in it, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sure they're as good as the dead, aren't they?
Oh, they are.
Yeah. Well, if they're not as good as the dead, you're going to keep the ardent fist in them. You'll make sure they do the job right.
That is
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We have one more, have we?
On the road from Spillanes, the road goes on the railway. You're going from Bardup to Glenflesk, and we call the main road, turn veers to the right, and we go straight down. And that was where we're living, was the McCarthy estate one time. And then McCarthy's were the land, the local landlords. In 1908, they sold the estate, which was near enough 200 acres, to a Breen family from Knocknagree for £1,750. And the Breen family farmed it for about 3 or 4 years. In 1912, anyway, it was taken over by they were known as the Land Commission, they were known as the Congested District Board.
Nice.
So it was divided between 3 families. My grandfather, Aggie Doherty, came from the station, the old station at Headford, and you 2 minings from Stronderock. One was Morris Mining, and you had Dan C. Mining, but Morris Mining was the late Mike Mining's father, the late TD. And that was 1911, it was divided. So anyway, where do we go from there? Then about the song. The song. I have a brother, a priest, is ordained 48 years now, and he's in Brownsville in Texas. And he wrote the words of a song about Headford and the Windy Only Cree and all that. But the Only Cree River is the same river as when the bog moved in Bob and Guineaquilla, and it came down the Only Cree River, And again, coming back to Mike Myman's father, he used to tell us when we were kids that when the bog moved and there was a big crowd watching the river, it had broken up then when it came to Headford the bog, and it was just muck. And the only Kerry River is the tributary, the Flesk, and it flowed into the lakes of Killarney.
And there was supposed to be some pieces found in the lakes of Killarney, some old furniture and all of that.
Yeah, of the family, the Donnellys.
That's right.
They were washed away when the bog moved. But anyway, coming back to the song, I thought if I'd sit talking long enough, we might forget about the song.
That's the worst bit about me.
But the brother priest, anyway, he wrote the words of a song. We put an A up to it, anyway, eventually, about 15 or 16 years ago. It goes something like this. There's a pretty spot in Ireland, it will always be my home. Although I've traveled far away, no matter where I roam, my mind it keeps returning to that place across the sea, and they call it lovely Headford by the winding Aoney Cree. It's been many days since I left home to cross the ocean blue, but ever since that parting day, the truth I'll tell to you, that as I go to bed each night, I pray that in dreams I'll be back home once more. May the Kerry hills by the winding Aoney Cree. It flows down through Lisbaba and on to Raedranach, underneath the bar of the bridge, through the glens of Shron the Rock, past Crowleys and Haleys, Dancons and Darties, and Tados, Neils, and Motties there beside the Aoney Cree. I love to stand on that old grey bridge and watch the sun go down. Away back in the distance, the mail puffs out from town. Paddy Haley's bringing home the cows, and down in the bog I see Dan Kaler still drawing out the turf beside the Aoney Cree. But dreams are only dreams to me. I wake up for to find 5,000 miles between me and the home I left behind. For the sake of God and country, I am destined for to be a lonely exile far away from the winding Aoney Cree. Go
Thank you very much indeed. We talk about set dancing.
Right.
One, two, okay. Another man here with me now is Tim Doherty. Tim, how are you? Very good. Tim, I believe you like a bit of set dancing.
Well, a small bit. What a fire is known in myself, Thomas, Catherine here, we got here.
Right. So, have you met up with any good set dancers in the Fireworks region?
Oh, God, yes. I can compete it all with them. I'm only a very bad.
I always thought Headford were fit.
Well, that's fairly fit, all right, yes.
From drinking goat's milk. Now he's thinking how he's going to come back to me. Anyway, I remember your late dad out in Ballybrack.
I suppose.
Paddy?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Paddy was a tremendous man at fishing, wasn't he?
He was a great fisherman.
Great fisherman.
And it was late in the time we had, that was You were the man that.
Yeah, my father, God rest him, used to work with him. Yeah. But I remember Penny very well. He used to take us down to the Greece and show sort of fly fish.
That's right.
The river there.
He did a lot of fly fishing, like.
He was going with the gun as well, wasn't he?
He was. Imagine the cock pheasant. He died on the opening day of the cock pheasant. That's right.
Yeah. Do you remember much about Ballybrack yourself?
I do, of course. I was born in very bad. Yeah. Maureen took me out of it. Thank you. No, she's from this area, Lowbridge.
Oh, I see.
That's right, yeah. Her father was in the rebel.
I see.
Yeah.
I won't mention about Ghost Milk tomorrow. But I talked to her very well, so that was the connection, yeah. Yeah. So, you're all keeping well?
We're in bed,
That's great.
That's his partner in crime there over there, Thomas.
Thomas.
Thomas Daly.
That's right.
Thomas, you're the other set dancer, are you?
I'm trying to keep up with him.
Outside of Fire Race, do you go to any other place dancing? Not this year. I was talking to Evelyn Cronin there, one of the girls that's involved in it, and she was telling me not this year, perhaps next year.
That's right.
Were you the Gleneagle over the Headford weeks now? Yeah, there's tremendous dancing on the Gleneagle as well. Katie says. Yeah. No? Okay then, do you want to say hello to anybody?
See you soon.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Tim, you're saying
I mean, the immigration was rampant at the time here. I don't know, we know it. And we were playing Clonfesty, you know, and the parish rule came in. And we used to have a new team nearly every year with immigration in the early 50s. You know? And then, of course, we had have students going to the priesthood here. But in 1954, we came to the conclusion we'd leave all them out. And we won the Junior East Kerry in 50-16, and I was captain in that blessed day. And they left us in again the following year in 57 because all our crowd that played us here before were going up playing with in Killarney, and they were on the guards and they were on the priesthood and everything. And we won it again in 57. With a bit of poaching like and the such like.
Yeah. Sure, you have to poach. You have to poach. Who else did you say went to school with you from here?
Oh, Jim Kelly. We're the only three that stayed locally. All the rest went in the priesthood or some other way. And we held them flag line.
Okay. Good on you. That's great. And Jim was the other member who we spoke to earlier on.
Another day, so he went in again. He said, "What's the problem?" He said, "Look," he said, "I know it's circumstantial evidence, but we have to find him guilty. So what's the problem?" And this man is told this man, local man. He said, "I'll tell you about circumstantial evidence." He said, "I have a cow at home, and a three-legged stool in a bucket. And they sat under it," he said. "And she kicked the bucket, put me flying. So I spancelled her. I got my bucket and stool and sat in again." He said, "You slapped the tail." But he said there was a little thing behind her back, and I stood up and I wanted to tie the tail over the top. And I took the belt off my trousers. And I reached up, and with that, my pants fell down around my ankles. And my wife came in the other end of the bar, now telling me about circumstantial evidence.
That was good. Talk to me about going to dances in your younger days. What was it like for you? Where did you go? And what did you get up to?
I don't know that about traveling with a bicycle. In my young days anyway, but I went to work in Knockney, worked by a farmer. That's him in the late 50s. I had the evening, he had my bicycle and cycling to Granny, into the deep. All to Hall. And I bicycle at him and you were able They were all caught up in the carrier of the bicycle inside in the airfield. We'll come back to you with that before. There was no problems that way.
And how did you fare out of those dances in those years?
I don't know, I think Speedy God. I enjoyed them. I was like how said some of that, but I made out well for the finish and everything got everything in my way. And
out of the sets or something else?
Well, out of the sets and out of it all, you're already.
Let's see. Can you remember who might have been playing at this time now? Because we're always interested in the older groups and bands.
Well, Johnny Berry was a favourite man in Guinea Wood anyway. He was a top accordion man that him and Jan Murphy, the art Emerson, Jan Kerry, we used to call him. He was another great accordion player. Jan Derry, Jimmy Dale. Jan Derry was gone to his daughter with the old man, which was a white fiddle player. Jimmy Ian's father there, they were Ian's father. He was a white fiddle player out here himself and Jimmy Dale.
I'm sure those who are gone would have been mighty proud of the gambling session.
That would be indeed, that would be, that's the other
And I'm sure they'll be still as proud because of the tradition, the way it's being kept going.
That is right, that
Well,
is
they must
right,
be
yeah,
the
that is right, that is right. We done that about probably around home, there'd be local dances in the evenings and patterns and that, and I done a lot of dancing and patterns in the evenings and like that.
Do you miss that now?
Well, I wouldn't be able to do it now, but I still remember it and I enjoyed every hour of it, I tell you, so Sean, I did.
All right, those are memories of the past. How are you spending your time now?
A small retail farmer.
Have you a tractor?
I have one of them too, yeah.
Did you go up to Dublin?
I didn't, for I don't think I'd make it, yes, I wouldn't be able to get that. I wouldn't have bold enough for that, sure. I'd be a bit like Kerry.
I think he's one over on the boards. I might go back to Larry. Thanks for talking to me. I will go back to Larry. Larry, you seem to be enjoying yourself this evening, and we give the Queen's Milk anyway a good kind of a G up here this evening. They'll all be on it tomorrow. By the way, is this stuff for sale? Are you manufacturing it? No? Or marketing it, maybe I should say. Yeah.
I was going to holiday this year. I must
Good God, Larry, you're slowing up a bit.
Could be there, lad.
All right, maybe it's what one person.
Because he don't realize at all the good it is.
All right. Okay, Larry, we have to leave it at that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'll give you another song.
Have you a song for me?
I'll give you another song.
What do? Just a song.
I'll give you another song. But it has nothing got to do with farming. But maybe my miss. My girlfriend. The war girlfriend they had. You want to know the war girlfriend they had? I'm so no. I'm so grown up. But this was the one when I had.
Right.
I fell in love with a pretty little thing. I thought that wedding bells would ring. She was as sweet as we could be, till I found out what you did to me. Railroad, steamboat, river and canal, yonder comes the sucker, and he's got my girl, and she's gone, gone, gone. Yes, she's gone, 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 and I bid her my last farewell. I asked her mother to let her go. She whispered, Mother, please tell him no. Though he may think that I am true, there's plenty more more, who takes a boat to railroad, steamboat, river and canal. Yonder comes the sucker, and he's got my girl, and she's gone, gone, gone. Yes, she's gone, 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 and I bid her my last farewell. Now I won't cry my life away. Some motherfucker I guess I'll hear him sing the song. Railroad, steamboat, river and canal. Yonder comes the God, my girl. She's gone, gone, gone. Yes, she's gone, gone, gone. And I bid her my last farewell.
Thank you, Larry.
The sweetest frozen color a cowboy ever knew. Her eyes all bright as diamonds, they sparkle in the dew. You may talk about your dearest maids, sing of Rosaline, but the yellow rose of Texas beats the bells of Tennessee. Now I'm going back to find her, my heart is full of woe. We'll sing the songs together we sang so long ago. We'll pick the banjo gay and we'll sing the songs of yore. And the yellow rose of Texas beauty, mine forevermore. She's the sweetest frozen color a cowboy ever knew. Her eyes all bright as diamonds and they sparkle in the dew. You may talk about your dearest maid, sing of Rosaline, but the yellow rose of Texas beats the bells of Tennessee.
The parish priest and Lawson getting us back together with the head of the teacher and writing it. And he brought the children there, and we set floats there, and they came back to a cat in honor of the children that were neglected and that were about to be buried in consecrated.
Gypsy League sing a song. I've been told that you're going to sing a song for us all about Dunfest.
Yeah, a man from Dunfest.
A man from Dunfest.
Yeah, his name was Michael Sullivan.
Right.
He was from Macarch.
What was he famous for?
Struggle.
All right, okay.
Yeah. He was shot by the British. Sing the song.
She was a boy, men flesh by
He sang the songs of his country rise by the flesk and oak tree. And as he took me by the hand, his happy home to live, bound down by free state treasury to fill paradise. Good night, my gallant comrades, I will call to see you soon. Tonight we'll cross the Sluggadle by the rising of the moon. We'll roam the wide woods of Crowhorn and down by Sleeve. We will fill a school to meet the foe or fill 6 long weary months he roamed o'er the glen as mounted high. The heather was his pillow, and his blanket was the sky. And as he roamed far from his home, from dawn till set of sun, you could hear him still down wood or no night, my gallant comrades, I will call to see you soon. Tonight we'll cross the Slugger by the rising of the moon. We'll roam the wild woods of Crowhorn and down by Spillanes. We will fill a school to meet the foe, or fill this brave and bold undaunted youth of a cowardly shot he fell. If the rich brown heather could only speak some bravery, it would tell. 6 free-state soldiers came to grief by the manly blow he gave, and tonight he sleeps in high Kilquan and fills her brother's grave. Good night, my gallant comrades, I will call to see you soon. Tonight we'll cross the Slugger by the rising of the moon. We'll roam the wild woods of Crowhorn and down by Spillanes. We will fill a school to meet the foe, or fill our no more I'll answer to her call, or love sweet British fame. For all my gallant comrades, they are shot or dying in jail. But rather than to be a coward or be a free state slave, for freedom's sake and Ireland's cause, I will fill our
And it's a shame, Mrs. E.
Smarter. 31 will be the most popular game around here.
Right.
The leaders in this house are very strong. Making vastly because that was main David here for the last 25 years or longer. Bars, very popular. The lead pattern after calling them for regulars here on this and that. Great game for everyone. Every trick was hard fought for, and no shooting was being easy from last season. So I was watching it and there are some more seasons playing. the year round meals. Sometimes not often for a while come back to it, but there's been a great deal of one here for the past 25 years.
Right. And Joe, are there any highlights or any particular time of the year where the art game they keep repeat?
Public houses where that would be played and who would win it, and we would go to the Gallows Grand and go to the Gallows.
Right. Would be something so hot like, shall we say, football clubs?
To be a bit more loose than that, because if the night you come and depending on who was here on the night that you might fall in playing with people, you would have a regular table of eight, but there would also be times, I can remember a time when you had 5 tables going on the one night, and there would be each table with its own characters,
Right. What sort of crack would you have when you talk about fun? There were the characters. They'd be well known in the region, all right. What sort of fun would come out into that night?
Well, some people, don't like to have a bit of banter in relation to, if you let the drink away, there's one mistake here. If somebody would feel that you should have maybe taken the drink, you let somebody go. And they did play for a hamper, they'll be watching games more maybe than the tricks, where they're playing a single game, they'll be watching the tricks. So there would be a fair bit of interchange between players in the course of the night, depending on, so they might think they should take cards or not different, or the rest of it. But I might get a reminder, I might be doing last Sunday night or last Thursday night as well, and the track will go on.
Yeah. Would you travel out from this area, from other parts of the country to make cards yourself?
There was a time when I would, but since the last time we don't do that anymore. You have to stay more. Last time when we was going to True Bay, it was very does want to fair but some people still do.
Right. Do you ever come across a fellow by the name of Big Cronin from Fossa?
Across Big there's a lot of paintings there's several big paintings, not one in Fitzgerald Stadium. Nick was a regular at a game in the Fitzgerald Stadium in St. Mary's, and bringing Joe and Tegan from the Tralee Road. There was a big great game there. Jim Kelly, who's over here, and his brothers used to play there fairly regular as well. And some share of people from this side of the country was going in to play. There's good games there in the Fitzgerald Stadium.
Anything in particular?
So we just posted, oh yeah, sound, 16 tracks, right? 3 tunes by Vincent. And the other different songs like
Okay, what are you going to sing tonight for us?
This is the Polish
All right.
We can be serious ones as well.
Right. And you'll give him a bit of cuteness, won't you?
Yes. Yeah. I call you up last Saturday on my telephone. Said thanks for bringing me to the dance and letting me take you home. I'm sorry I acted nervous. I started to stammer and sweat. It happened as soon as I saw your face and I haven't gotten over it yet. I stared at your great big beautiful big blue eyes. I wondered if you scrutinized all the guys. And when you smiled, I nearly shot out through the door. I never seen such pretty little teeth before. I wasn't always shy like this. I've been out with other girls. I kissed them on the back door and I let them feel my curls. But ever since I met you down there at the farmer's ball, I can't talk and I can't say a word at all. My collar gets awful tight. I can't talk like the way I did last night. I get a funny feeling in my brain. I can't move, and I can't say a word again. I stared at your great big beautiful big blue eyes. I wondered if you scrutinized all the guys. When you smiled, I nearly shot out through the door. I never seen such pretty little teeth before. She said she'd see me Saturday night. I put down the phone. My tongue is back to normal now, and I'm once more alone. And the next time that I'll see her, it'll be Saturday night around 10. But you can bet your bottom dollar I'll be a stuttering bum again. I'll grab her by the arms and I'll push her inside. Take my courage in both hands and ask her to be my bride. But if she holds my clammy hand, like the way I know she would, I'd cover my face. I cure myself for good. I stared at my great big beautiful big blue eyes. I wondered if you scrutinized all the guys. When you smiled, I nearly she shot out through the door. I never seen such pretty little teeth before. My father always said there was no good in being a fool, I suppose.
And listen to me a while. Don't tire it any further till you know what your work will be. For you must rise up early from the clear daylight till dawn. I'm afraid you'll never be able to plow the rocks along. My shoes, they are now worn. My socks are getting thin. My heart is always trembling now for fear they might give in. My heart is always trembling now from the clear daylight till dawn. I'm afraid I'll never be able to plow the rocks along. Rise up now, gallant Sweeney, and give your horses say, and give them a good feed of horse before you start away. Don't feed them and soft turnips that grows on your green lawn, or they never will be able to plow the rocks along. My curse upon you, Sweeney, you have nearly wrong. You're sitting by the fireside with your feet upon the hearth. You're sitting by the fireside now from the clear daylight till dawn. I'm afraid you'll never be able to plow the rocks along. I wish the Queen of England would send for me in time, and please me in some arrangement all in my youth and prime. I'd fight for Ireland's glory now from the clear daylight till dawn, and I never will return again to plow the rocks upon.
Go on, Jerry.
Okay, well, you want to sing a song for us tonight. By the way, before we get you to sing a song, there's a tremendous audience and very talented. Very good. There's Kerry actually, every Saturday night we sing a song here. You know, there's a gang of us, the same gang that get together every Saturday night and we have a session. We have a session, yeah. After a few points. Very good. And the little session turns into a radio program. Right, what are you going to sing for us? I sing a song that reminds me of McCarthy. It's about Jack Dyer. He's a very famous boxer. Right. He never really enjoyed being and he died a drunk on the streets. And he's something to do with a woman. He was supposed to be a fine-looking man. He had 10 boys, and he was a boxer. He ended up in London. He did, yeah. He died in the streets in London, and I put up a lovely plaque above in Cove, where he was born. We went up to see it. Right. So the song you're going to sing is all about him, isn't it? Yeah, it's called "A Contender" to Jimmy McCarthy wrote. Rosie, will you help me? Yeah. All right. Let's go. I was young and I was in my day. Sure, I see what woman's heart would come my way. The night singing to the dawning, saw the blazing to the morning, long before I was the man you see today. I was born beneath the stars that promised all. Could have lived my life without Cassandra's call. But then the wheel of fortune took me from the highest point it shook me. By the battle, by the battle, I shall fall. There are the mirror on the wall. I see the dream is fading from the contender to the wrong. The ring, the rose, the matador, raining. The night I die drunk out on the street. They will count me out to 10 in clear defeat. Wrap the starry plough around me, let the piper's air resound me. There I'll rest until the Lord of love calls me. There on the mirror on the wall, I see the dream is fading from the contender to the brawl. The ring, the rose, the matador, raining.
that is.
I did not know what that is. Hang on now. We'll take two on that. 3, 2, 1. Tim Sullivan, Paddy Patsy's. Tell me about Paddy Patsy's.
Joe Crowley, Paddy had laid low, and he was walk over at his farm, my lord. And he was a man of 75 years of age at the time anyhow. And we were all there, dancing sets, that's where we learned how to dance sets. And we didn't care where we went to get away there, and thinking eagle whereafter, we were well prepared for it. And
Sure,
Joe was playing there with us, playing for us, sir.
Sure, Timmy kept you fit.
Oh yeah, and I'm still fit.
What else did you do besides dance sets?
Ah, well, we've done lots of things then. We can get us home to Sean and take the horse and trap in the morning at 7 or 8 o'clock. I thought I'd go for the train to London at 11.
So you kind of kissed him
Well,
goodbye.
it's even that more thing.
Yeah.
Oh, we did. It was only kissing, didn't it?
And they were happy with that.
Oh, yeah, quite happy.
Good God. If they got a kiss now, they'd want more.
Ah. That's a long story, like.
I mean, they probably want your bank account.
But that's true, like. And we walked back from shore after dancing over in Jack Heads, the footballers, the Midas, that played with New York. And we were playing football over down in the morning. And with my mind, he's dead now, Mickey, that played with New York for them. And we walked back from shore, back through Shields, and landed and we became the one. We were quite happy.
There was an awful lot of walking.
There was, but there was no other way. The first bit of transport we got here road was Richard had owned the Harlem Barrow. He bought a van by the name of Granby.
A van?
A van. And Granby was living up the side.
All right.
And he was taking us up to make the bridges. And taking me with us to Sean where we went to the boat. He'd pack us all in the back, take a bunch of calves, but he bought them for carrying calves, like.
Carrying calves?
His maps.
All right.
The fares at the time.
Right.
But he ended up carrying us to make the bridges and they had to show him to get it with it. And we were very thankful for they told they got the road, like.
What, did he put the women into the van as well?
Oh, we were all inside together, like by cross bows.
Right. Okay, are you going to sing for me?
I will sing this song. But as we'll show me on your passage here.
There's no rush, take your time now, you're all right.
Take your time down, but I'm clean right in here. We dearly love our shamrock screen, with triple leaflets fair. 'Tis free to all, for it is found in Ireland everywhere. And as we gather, it may we, its real what you discern, like dewdrops on its leafless tree, and lessons we shall learn. Faith is the lesson it first gives, it teaches us to be content and happy all our lives, from care and worry free. Faith teaches us in God to trust, and in His loving care. Oh, fly vanquished everywhere. Then next we come to cheerful hope, sure it guides us on our way. For hope looks forward every hour, the brighter things in store. Oh, cherished hope, sure it gives us power above all ills to soar. But love the best has yet to come, sure it hangs on leafless tree. For love is the crown of every home, a pledge of harmony. Though far and wide, true love must show that it can love and still. Though it is wrong, for it is slow to anger or ill will. So let us swear our shamrocks free upon St. Patrick's Day. And may we always try to hear what it has got to say. Sure, if Irish children all would band and learn these lessons three, faith, hope, and love would make their land a land of unity.
Back on.